Today's short is being brought to you by Goya Foods. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Your daily game plan for success. It's Sacks in the Morning. Steve Sacks.
Hi, Steve Sacks here with Sacks in the Morning. And today is All-Star Day, post-All-Star Day, I guess you could say. One day after, and wasn't it great? Love the All-Star Game. It's always been my favorite of all the sports, naturally. Playing baseball myself, I loved going to the All-Star Game. It's been fun to not only go, but participate in it. In the past, I was fortunate to go a few times. And I can remember my first time. I'm in Montreal, and Tommy Lasorda was the manager of the team because we had won the World Series the year before. And he had told me that I was chosen for the All-Star team, and he was the guy that got to choose me because if you don't win it by the fan vote, then the manager chooses, and Tommy had chose me. So a couple days before the game is about to be played, Tommy calls me in his office and says, look, there's been some rule that they had that I couldn't decide to pick you because I'm the manager of the All-Star team, so you're not going to be part of the team. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you're not on the All-Star team anymore. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's too bad. I thought I deserved it. Had it been not for my sister who had 2,000 votes that she had not put into the till that were in the back of her car, I could have been because I lost the vote by 1,600 votes to Manny Trio from Philadelphia. So I always blame my sister for that. But nonetheless, Tommy, it turns out, the next day brings me in his office and says, nah, just kidding. You're really going to the All-Star Game. And then I'll tell you what, I wanted to, when somebody does that, you want to just get them in a headlock and give them like a noogie or, kind of rough them up a little bit. I kind of did that with Tommy in his office. I roughed him up a little bit. I said, man, come on. It was all in fun. So I did get to go. So fortunate to go. And when I got there, remember now, I'm 4 years out of high school. Guys like Pete Rose and Rod Carew, and these guys are coming up to me, hey, man, what's up, Sacks? And I'm like, God, I can't believe they know my name. I was like beside myself and sitting on the dais with Pete Rose, and my dad was next to me. I mean, gosh, this was like a dream come true. This is the most amazing thing. But remember, too, is that later on I was fortunate to go to the All-Star Game with the Yankees. And contracts broke down between the Dodgers and I after the 88 season. And basically I had to go somewhere else. And so going to another team and making the All-Star team with the Yankees was something I always treasured. Because remember, when it could be in your own life. You leave a job, you go someplace else, and sometimes people think, well, this team didn't want me, or this job place here I'm working now doesn't want me. But you know what? There's somebody else that will. Some other team will, or some other place of work will covet the fact that you bring certain skills to them as well. And that's kind of how I felt with the Yankees, that they really wanted me, and it turned out good that I went because it really shot my career full circle going and being on the stage in New York. So that was a fun thing. And lastly, what I want to share with you is in 1983, when I was on the All-Star team for my second year in a row, I was going through a terrible time in my life. I just lost my father. I was going through this throwing issue that many of you know about. And I had brought my mom to the All-Star Game with me. And my mom was in the hotel room with me, and she was saying, you're going to look back on this someday and be grateful that you're going through this throwing issue. And I thought, I didn't know that my mom ever smoked hash, but how could she not? If she's saying something like this, I'm glad I'm going through this humiliating part of my life. And as it would be fitting, I made an error during the All-Star Game as well. And after I made that error, I was in the dugout thinking, you know what? She's got to be up to something. This really puts an exclamation point on this whole thing of, I'm going to be glad I went through it. And as it turned out, she was right. How prescient my mother was, because it made me a better player, made me a better person to go through something, bounce off the wall of failure, and come back and fix it. That is the key to the whole thing. Maybe you're going through something like that in your life where you have to bounce off the wall of failure and fix it. Maybe it's a humiliating part of your life like it was for me. But if you come back and fix it, it's going to make you stronger. It's like a bone that breaks, and when it heals, it's always stronger. That's what it was like for me. And how nice that my mom was able to see into the future and know that it was going to help me and help me a lot. And that's my short for today. If you like what you heard, give us a positive review, subscribe, and share. Also, remember that the Sacks in the Morning swag is now available on my Instagram site. Go to SacksInTheMorning_podcast. You'll see it right there on the Instagram, and just hit the link. Everything's there. Mugs, hats, tumblers, you name it. Take advantage of it. Today's short was brought to you by Goya Foods. If it's Goya, it has to be good.